It's our January 21st board meeting. We will, if everybody will stand, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. I want to welcome everybody out today. Hope everybody had a great weekend. We could get a motion to approve our minutes from the January 6th meeting.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Can we get a motion to approve the demands and handwritten warrants?
Mr. Chairman, I've had a chance to review the demands on handwritten warrants, those who were which were over $1,000, and I'll go ahead and make the motion that we go ahead and approve those payment of those demands and handwritten warrants.
I will second that.
I'll make that unanimous. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Hannah, is anybody online? Sorry about that. Okay. I will now turn the time over to Sheriff Allred.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
So back in December, we had well, they had the ACO meetings and all that stuff that were going on, but there was also some stuff that was going on with the jails and our Sheriff's Association and a lot of things. And our county detention facility, we received an award, and of course that award is for the Innovation of the Year recognition. And TJ is jail commander. Come on up here, and Jeff, you just welcome up here too, because I mean that's all part of the whole deal. We'd like to bring the whole entire detention facility here to help see this and be part of this, but like everybody else, they got to work today, so they can't run all of them over here. But since you know, I mean, we've always done really well with our detention as far as, well, a lot of you know where we kind of come from with all that. It's been a lot of years to get to where we are now. But having said that, where we were at, we had guys that worked really hard in it. They kept us their best to keep us up with all the different policies and just all the different mandates that were handed down to us and all those things. And like a lot of things, we've gotten better through the years also. And then now and TJ Pettis is our jail commander there, and he's kind of at the helm, at the reins of that, and we're blessed and grateful to have him there. Besides having a lot of great people that work underneath him and with him or whatever, you know, he has his own take on things, and he uses it a lot, and it's allowed to let him use it a lot because we put our full trust and faith in TJ in that area of our facilities, and he hasn't let us down any at all. I mean, now this afternoon he'll do something, I don't know. But no, he's great, he's wonderful, and he runs a really good crew. And you know, I went in the office yesterday, you know, and most everybody else was off for a little while, whatever, but we had our detention, our little academy was going on with some of our cadets, and they were in there doing their studying and doing their thing, and they were on their computers, which scares me to death, but they were doing all their things that they need to do. And that's why we have a great bunch of folks around us, because they work hard and dedicated. And we just wish that we could keep them a whole lot longer than some of them, because they bail out of there on us for different reasons in life. but those that decide to make it home, and those that have, they might leave or whatever, but while they're there, they work hard. And part of that is because of what TJ does to show that guidance also. And then of course Jeff is instrumental in a lot of the overseeing of a lot of things, and Cindy helps us tremendously with so much stuff that goes on. And between her and Jeff and Ida, there's not a whole lot of stuff that can kind of slip through the cracks on us. And they watch things very vigilant for us. But anyway, the innovation of the jail, a lot of people, you know, throw them in, throw the key away, we'll see you later. But that doesn't happen. And TJ and his crew works very hard daily. And yeah, so it was done well enough that those others in the state decided to give the Graham County Detention Officers Detention Center this award. So let me give that to TJ, and one of them things, we'll wear it with pride. And thank you for all the assistance and help that we get from everybody in this room, because everybody in this room truly does help us in all the things that we do. And we got to have you, and that's why I think we make a pretty good team here in Graham County. So thank you so much.
Sheriff. Chairman Mack, Sheriff, before you leave, just wanted to commend you for the efforts that your jail commander Perez has made with the reentry program, and actually giving people some life skills and some counseling, rather than just saying, here's your clothes, here's what you had in your wallet when you ended up here, see you later. You know, that for anyone who's there for a short, more than just a very short period of time, that's very much appreciated, and it does make a difference, and it shows care and compassion above and beyond the incarceration. So thank you.
Thank you.
Like to reiterate something also to you guys. Graham County has a lot to be proud of. Our sheriff's department, especially our detention center. You guys do a fantastic job. It's much noted, and we appreciate the effort you put in and how thorough you are. You guys are a great team, and I'm glad to be able to be a small part of it to help you in any way we can. But we really appreciate the hard work you do, and your efforts is certainly not gone unnoticed. So thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll say the same thing. Our county's definitely blessed to have a great sheriff's department. Thank you guys for your time and service.
Thank you. I'm proud of it.
All right, moving along, we will hear from Cindy Orr with the Treasurer's Office.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Today I'm presenting an offer for an over-the-counter tax deed on parcel 106-12103. This offer was made by one of the adjoining property owners, which is really great because it's a small, kind of wraps around the other parcel. And this offer includes all the necessary fees and taxes and interest that have accrued on this property.
Any questions,
No,
comments?
but just really appreciate your efforts. Like I always say, you do a fantastic job. If there's no other comments, I can make a motion.
I
ahead.
just wondered how you managed to get an extra $10 above and beyond the.
I even tried to talk him out of it because it wasn't necessary, but he felt rounding up was the right thing to do.
Well, good, thank you.
Can't complain about that, not one bit. I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the over-the-counter tax deed for parcel 106-12-103.
And I'll second Supervisor Howard's motion.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. All right, next up, we will hear from Mr. Herman Andrews from probation.
All right. Today I'm coming to you guys to get approval for a new position. It's a juvenile activities consequence coordinator. We used to have it back in the day. It was a part-time position. It was juvenile tutoring, and that was the last time we had it was in 2022. So now we're trying to bring it back. AOC is going to be fully funding it. It'll come out of 2 different funds. And it's going to be better than what it was before because we'll have after-school programs, and that's going to take away some of the detention time that we're sending kids. We're going to try to utilize that instead of sending kids to detention. So they'll have a little more consequences here instead of having to run them to Pinell County every time they get in trouble.
Well, that's great, especially if AOC will pay for it and it'll help our youth.
Yeah.
I think it's a great opportunity.
I think it's great. We have something here now that we can do that and not have to ship them to Pinell, and hopefully that'll fill that void. We can do that, so I fully support this.
A question for you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your work. I noticed on our packets, our agenda packets, that you had a couple of names indicated or listed there, and percentages, 60%, 40%. So do you already have staffing who will take care of this, or are you going to have to advertise for this?
We'll advertise for it.
Okay, very good. Yeah, what's not to like about it? The state funding, as long as they continue to fund it, I'd move that we approve this, and that does give us one more tool, one more opportunity to interact and to try to reach some of these kids who are having a tough time growing up. That's my motion to approve the new position.
And I will second that.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you,
Motion
gentlemen.
passes. Thank you, Herman. All right, next up will be Mr. Bryce from engineering.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Dustin, this is asking for approval to accept a quitclaim deed from Celia Ornelas for a right-of-way on Powerline Road. This will be she's given the north 50 feet of her property to allow us to improve that road. So this is another one of those pieces.
Great. Thank you, Michael, and appreciate all your hard work on Powerline and getting those right-of-ways.
We're slowly inching along, getting on all the right-of-ways there where we can move forward on this, which you all have been working very hard to do. So that's we never want to deny a right-of-way claim deed.
When you mentioned Powerline Road, it kind of triggered a thought that Kent and Rose Marie Larson live there on Powerline Road. That they're some of the residents, and Kent has been active in the fire district and supportive of county activities. And this last Wednesday, he lost his good wife. She passed away suddenly at home, and so our thoughts go out. But I'm sure that she will appreciate the and homemakers will appreciate the transition from as we pave that from a dusty road to a paved road. So, but anyway,
Are
thoughts.
you saying that Rose passed away?
Rose passed away, yeah, last Wednesday.
Wow.
Anyway, I'll go ahead and make a motion that we approve the quitclaim deed from Mrs. Ornelas for her right-of-way on Powerline Road.
And I will happily second that.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes. Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Bryce. We'll next hear from Brian Douglas with the Health Department.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We're seeking approval of an agreement with Melissa Alder to assist with her mental and behavioral health program. She's one of our contractors for the mental and behavioral health program is Remy Smith. And Remy is completing her education for her master's degree, and she's unable to help Jennifer Labram as much as she needs. And Melissa Alder has just graduated with her bachelor's in marriage and family studies, and would like Melissa to step in and to help Jennifer, and Remy will finish out her contract, I believe, in May.
What were what's the duration of the grant that for this position? Do you remember?
Actually, we have an agreement with the United Way.
Right.
And we have one more cycle of another like 2 years. So
Okay.
we have another 3 or 4 years
Very good.
of this.
No, thank you.
How is that program going? It seems to
Great.
be, she's doing well.
Jennifer's been out in the schools, and she's just been everywhere and doing a great job. And
That's good.
and that's been one of the items within our community health assessment is behavioral health.
Nice.
And mental health, and that's what we've addressed, and she's out there doing a great job for us.
Right. I'd be happy to make a motion to approve the agreement with Melissa Alder to assist with mental behavior health program.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Douglas.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next up we will hear from Steve McGoy with Planning and Zoning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
I've got a application here for a special event liquor license for the Big Buck Contest 2025. Will be February 22nd, I'm sorry, at the Graham County Fairgrounds Ag Building. I am not equipped. I tried to find out how many years this has been going on, but it's missed a few ever back in the day. I don't think they had it during COVID either, but anyway, this has been a Graham County staple for years, and they would like to do it on February 22nd from 3:30 to almost midnight. And they've got Sarah's Bullpen liquor license and people to pull that off, so we would suspend our county license for this period.
Can't believe it's already been a year. Seems like we just had that, so it's definitely a big draw for our community. It's a yearly event everybody looks forward to, so I certainly support this.
Yeah, and the Southeastern Arizona Sportsman Club has been very responsible, and has one of the better setups for security and monitoring. So I'm pleased to make a motion to approve the special event liquor license for the Big Buck Contest.
Yeah, before I second that, one more comment. You know, like Paul said, the Southeastern Arizona Sportsman Club, they everybody thinks this is what they do, is have the big buck contest, but these gentlemen, they work relentlessly out in the mountains repairing waters and helping the wildlife. They have quite a group of volunteers that really, really make a difference for the sportsmen in southeastern Arizona. So I'll be happy to second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Steve. All right. We'll turn the time over to Manager Welker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This next item under the board business is a proposed resolution. A handful of counties are either considering this or have passed a similar resolution opposing the current practice of the Antiquities Act. The Antiquities Act is an act that was passed in 1906 where President of the United States can, by executive order, designate national monuments and put a lot of restrictions on lands. And pushback from the counties and local communities is that they don't have a voice in this, and that the feeling was this act was created for emergency measures, and that's not how it's being currently practiced. I'll introduce it like that. I'll turn the time over to Supervisor David. He's the one that has proposed this resolution, and he's our liaison with a couple organizations that are supporting this. And that's all right with you, Supervisor David. I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks very much, Dustin. And my interest here, everyone loves the Grand Canyon. No question about that being designated as a national park and national monument. The concern is historically that these large areas, one was in the Mojave County and Coconino County, 110,000 acres. There was a mining operation that was going to provide a stream of income for Mojave County. The tribes and Coconino County advocated to turn this 110,000, which is adjacent west of the Grand Canyon, into a national monument. And that became a national monument basically overnight, and without consulting the Arizona legislature or Mojave County. They had a public meeting in Coconino County, wouldn't hold one in Mojave County, and the cities of Fredonia or towns of Fredonia and Colorado City, and as well as the Mojave County, all opposed it. I like the idea of having lands set aside and designated. I'm just opposed and philosophically opposed to having it be done unilaterally, so that there's no consultation with any of the local agencies or taxing authorities. It's just done overnight, and when that's done, then things like the multiple uses disappear. It becomes a national park and or a national monument, and mining and grazing and logging and other activities which are beneficial cease. And so my concern was basically just there's no check, there's no balance. Congress is currently considering turning the Chiricahua National Monument, which is south of us, into a Chiricahua National Park, making it the fourth park. There's not and it's passed the Senate, but I don't think it's passed the House, and so but that's the process. I'm advocating that we have a review and that Congress be given these powers, and not have a president, irrespective of which party, just designating because of a special interest group or tribal or other groups that are prompting and saying, hey, we'd like to have this, and then have him or her go ahead and make a proclamation, and all of a sudden take 110,000 acres out of land that has potential to for leases and revenue. So that's basically in a nutshell, it's one of the things that Arizona New Mexico Coalition of Counties, they have what they call Members National Monument. It's been proposed in the middle of New Mexico, and it would take I think 60 or 70,000 acres, and just and take it out of multiple use. And so they're concerned about it, and that's the genesis of this. But I like national parks, national monuments. The process is I would like to see it changed and have it be more equitable, and have local citizens and municipalities and counties and the state be involved in that. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. John, did you have anything you wanted to add?
I just appreciate you, Paul, for digging into this and bringing this to our attention. I think it's very concerning what happens in these kind of situations, and we need to voice our opposition. And I fully support this resolution.
Thank you.
Need a motion?
Yes, sir.
Make a motion to approve the resolution number 2025-01, a resolution of Graham County, Arizona Board of Supervisors opposing abuse of the Antiquity Act.
No, I'll second that motion. Thank you.
I'll make that unanimous. Can we get a vote? All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes.
I believe, Mr. Chairman, we need to read it in for the record too, if you'd like me to read that.
Mm-hmm.
Resolution number 2025-01, resolution of the Graham County, Arizona Board of Supervisors opposing abuse of the Antiquities Act, whereas under the 1906 Act for the Preservation of American Antiquities, presidents can unilaterally designate national monuments by administrative order without any input or involvement of the American public, community leaders, elected officials, farmers, ranchers, miners, hunters, fishers, rock hounds, historical users, and local residents. And whereas the Antiquities Act was enacted before the creation of federal land management laws and was intended to be used in emergency situations to protect historic artifacts and sites of scientific value from imminent threat, which in all cases should be confined to the smallest area necessary. And whereas since its establishment 118 years ago, the Antiquities Act has been used correctly, but also misused for political purposes by U.S. presidents with large-scale designations intended to limit specific uses, activities, or access to vast areas of public lands, allowing unfettered governmental control and hindering the productive use of those lands. And whereas national monument designations have been provided by politics and special interest groups to sequester and remove public lands for most productive uses, therefore depriving current and future citizens from the needed natural resources. And whereas creating additional federal lands by placing public lands into permanent conservation status causes dramatic and irreversible harm to the economies of many states, and whereas many businesses and citizens are involved in or otherwise depend on industries that utilize federal lands and their resources, including the oil and gas industry, livestock grazing, mining and mineral development, recreational activities, hunting, fishing, and other outdoor recreation, and those industries are important components of the U.S. national and world economies and significantly contributor to the economic and social well-being of citizens. Now therefore be it resolved by Graham County's Board of Supervisors of Southeastern Arizona, Graham County opposes the unilateral designation by presidential executive order of lands, whether private or government lands, as national monuments, wilderness study area, wildlife preserves, open space, or other conservation land, thereby restricting public access to such lands and preventing development and productive use of the resources on or within such lands. Graham County calls on Congress to repeal the Preservation of American Antiquities Act, or at a minimum remove the unilateral presidential discretion for designation and require that designation proposals have the approval of affected local, state governments, and Congress. Passed and adopted this 21st day of January 2025 by the Graham County Board of Supervisors.
Thank you. Thank you, Dustin. We will now take this time for to let the county manager and the board talk about some of the things that they've been doing the last couple of weeks. I'll turn the time over to County Manager Welker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. First thing I'll point out is we'll have some members of the Secretary of State office here today, working with Hannah and IT and some others, doing a security tour, a security meeting of our facility and just looking at our equipment and everything. It's not an audit, but more of an assistance. So if you see some of them here today, that's what they're here for. An update on our sales tax. Our local sales tax came in January, year over year in a good place. Overall, we're 12.4% higher this year than last year. State shared has trended pretty close to local, actually just a little bit better, and we're 16.4% above last year. So those local economic indicators are still trending in a good direction. Some updates on some of our projects over at the jail, the walk-in freezer and cooler. It was scheduled to start this week. There's a little setback with insulated panels. They may not come until next week, so that project might be pushed back a week. We bid out our Common Sense building. We received those quotes on Thursday. We received 2, which are both very close and both well under budget, so we're happy about that. We'll look at those and award those this week. We're also out to bid on the shade structure at the fairgrounds. So that's the old playground that burned down. I want to thank Trey and Jim and his crew. They've meticulously went through all those pieces, stacked and organized all the pieces we think are good, and we'll be working with contractors to make sure they're agreeable as well with the usable pieces. Michael and Eric have put the plans together. We had to get a new foundation engineered. We have that ready to go, and we still have the old plans, so we'll be utilizing those. And those bids will be opened on March 3rd. We'll have a pre-bid meeting here in a couple weeks out there. Over at the fairgrounds, the guys have been busy trenching and putting in conduit for the Field 3 lights. We'll start preparing that request for quotes as well to get some new LEDs up there. And lastly, I just wanted to follow up. I sent the board and our many of our other staff a heads up that our turn for CDBG is coming back around. CDBG stands for Community Development Block Grant. We receive these funds every 4 years from SEGO, our Southeastern Arizona government organization. And I just want to read what these funds can be used for. We'll get about $291,000. It can be used for public infrastructure, water, wastewater, street improvements. It can be used for community facilities, parks, health clinics, libraries, senior and youth centers, housing, public services, economic development, and others. So there are a lot of asterisks throughout that, and at our next meeting in February, William Osborne for SEGO will be here to present more detail on that project. But the first of many steps will hit us at our next board meeting, and SEGO will present this opportunity, explain a little more what these funds can be used for, which is typically for disadvantaged communities. So either financially disadvantaged, ADA qualified projects and things like that. So we'll take a little deeper dive. This will be just a kickoff brainstorm meeting, and they'll outline the rest of the schedule from there. I won't get into our highway and engineering projects and more fair projects. We'll have that in the work session. So that's my report for now, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Supervisor Howard?
Yeah, I'll be real brief. I had the opportunity to go out to the airport last week and attend the ribbon cutting of the new air facility, airline, I guess you call it airline, air transporter, what they're doing out there. But I've talked to a few people that's used it, and they're very impressed with it, how it interchange down in Phoenix is very simple and very classy. Not a lot of problems. They have a direct line right into the Sky Harbor Terminal. You take the air track or train, whatever they call that thing, to get you into there and get you right to your gates. So it seems like it's going to be a benefit to our community. So I'm excited to see what the future brings with that. And I have opportunity to pick up our check for our winnings on the light parade and float winner. We got a check for $300, and we donated that check to the search and rescue. We gave it back to them for all they do to our community. I thought that was very well deserving to give it to them, and what they do for all of our events in the community is amazing how they done that. And on the 7th, I wasn't able to attend the Gila Valley Irrigation District meeting, but I was able to call in and give them some information that I had that I thought would interest them. And on Wednesday, I went down to the CSA new supervisor orientation. I never had the opportunity to attend that because of COVID when I first took office 4 years ago. So I went down, and a lot of great information on that. And the next day we had our board of directors meeting. Also on Wednesday night we had a legislative meet and greet. We got to meet and rub elbows with a lot of the incoming legislators and make new connections. Very beneficial for us here in Graham County to be a presence down there, to engage with our legislators, to see what's going on. So it's all three of us was there. I don't want to steal anybody's thunder, but I thought it was a great opportunity for us. And with that being said, that's the end of my report.
Thank you. Vice Chairman David?
Thank you very much, Chairman. On the 6th, 2 weeks ago, a little over 2 weeks ago, we had the ceremonial oath of office. It was a nice little reception. It was a formality because we'd already been sworn in order to have started working first of the year. And Hannah and Dustin and some of the other ladies in the office put together a really nice little reception. Did I miss anyone?
No, I mean, we had a lot of help from the office, so.
Okay, good.
You lumped me in with the ladies in the office, so thank you.
Well, they're glad to claim you. And then the following day, there was a substance abuse coalition meeting that I attended remotely, and they're talking about some of the events that they have upcoming and their facilities that they're improving. And then that evening, Gila Valley Veteran Services reviewed last year's not only Stand Down Day, but also the Veterans Day activities. The following day was busy, went to a Senior Citizens Center for their meeting. I'm a liaison for them. And then Food City had an impromptu opportunity to say the Pledge of Allegiance. The honor guard, one of the honor guard members, supposed to say the pledge, and he forgot the pledge, and so I stepped up and helped him out there. But it was a nice activity, and then later that day there was a NACO, the counties, national counties organization meetings. Following morning, a Department of Liquor license hearing, and then that weekend there was a Lions Melvin Jones Memorial celebration. It's an annual commemoration, and they had people from Lions Club International from from Mexico, from other countries. It was a nice observance, and I would just note that Under Sheriff McCormick's, it was his day off, and he was concerned about the parking arrangements and people backing out into traffic on US 70, and he was there to assist with traffic control on his day off. That was impressive. The following week, went to the State of the State address, and at the legislature listened to both the House and Senate, and got to hear what their priorities are for the year. It was a long trip, a lot of hot air. But it was good to be there representing Graham County, and I didn't. I had a poker face. I stood up and clapped when I was supposed to. The following day, there was a 6-hour land use planning meeting with the Coalition of Arizona and Mexico Counties that I attended remotely, and then the following day traveled to Phoenix for 2 days for County Supervisors Association meetings, the legislative reception, and a board meeting. So, and then the last thing that I'll report is on the 18th, which was last Saturday, the Graham County Historical Society had a Heritage Award ceremony, and they honored Eldon Angle and Ray Luster, and that was very well attended and most appreciated, and a great opportunity to learn more about these pillars of our community. That's my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I don't have a whole lot to add to that. I attended some of the same stuff that the other supervisors attended. I think my excitement for the last 2 weeks, I became a grandpa on Wednesday morning last week. So that's probably the excitement of my 2 weeks. But my daughter had a healthy baby boy, and so thank you. So moving on to the call to the public. Do we have anybody? All right. I want to thank everybody for coming, and we will adjourn our meeting now.
Thank you.